I am one of the owners at Scribble Time, a Center for Early Learning. We are located in North Attleboro, Massachusetts, and I have a center just like all of you with 154 students and a teaching staff of 30. So we're very familiar with what you do day in and day out. And so today I'm going to teach you our performance review topics. And someone asked if there's a workbook that goes with this. There's only workbooks in our leadership line group. And I'll go over that later on. But how can we use performance reviews to motivate our teachers is what we're going to talk about today. And what I want to tell you is that anytime over here in this chat box you want to ask me a question, just go ahead and type in a question and I will begin, I'll answer them. I'll keep looking at the box. So feel free to check in with me. So today I'm going to go over why we do performance reviews, how to develop your review, and the motivation process behind it. A lot of people look at performance reviews as being negative, and I want to change your mind on that. So what's the point? Many states require child care centers to observe their teachers so many times per year and provide the performance review. And in Massachusetts, we're required to do 6 observations, which is every other month, and then 1 written performance review. So in the chat box on the left, go ahead and tell us what your state requires so we can kind of get all on the same page. Performance reviews serve 2 purposes. The first is a communication tool for you to report performance, and the second is an evaluation tool. Human resource practices across the country over the years use performance evaluations as a one-time sit-down to go through how the company thinks you're doing. We're changing that today. The performance review document is going to be present at your center. It's an expectation how an employee can perform to make your center shine. I'm going to show you how to use it in a positive way to motivate your team while still documenting performance, and especially where you're going to need it legally. I'm just going to answer a question for Brittany. There we go. All right, so developing your review. You need to consider all of the areas you want your employees to focus on: workplace ethics, child guidance, classroom management, etc. You must also realize that when you develop these areas, not all employees are going to be evaluated on. So if you can come up with a big performance plan, such as teacher assistants versus managers, instead of doing 10 different employee performance reviews, you can come up with 1 performance review, and then you can kind of write not applicable on certain sections. So kind of as you're developing yours, and I'm going to show you ours, you can kind of review it and say, oh, do I need this? Do I not? Instead of making variations of one, you can use the same. So let's walk through the one that we use here at Scribble Time. So our performance review process is broken into 3 areas: work ethic, the classroom management, child guidance, child development, supervisory skills. And a supervisor is somebody that you might leave in charge of a classroom, like not all day, but maybe in the beginning of the morning or at the end of the night, or kind of like second in command in a classroom. And the 6th area on our performance review is management. So in the first section of our performance reviews, this is work ethic, and then we kind of come out with what's important to us. So attendance is very critical. How do you rate? What we have is a rule in our resource manual, and what the rule states is that you may not call out sick or take more than 15 vacation days in 1 year. You go above that, you take 16, you're in the below. There's never going to be an exceed attendance because you want them to use their time. But people with not calling out sick all the time could end up in that exceeds. Positive attitude is an important one. That's the one that there's no, human resource rule. You need to be positive all the time, but a positive attitude is so important in our job and with employee morale. So it's a great one to have on the performance evaluation. We ask them to maintain all their teaching licensing, and we're required to do 20 hours a year of additional training, and that falls in that bucket. Our staff meetings are mandatory. We excuse one miss, so that's 10 misses because the 11th one is we do a full day training that's mandated all of them come. We ask them to be all welcoming to all employees, children, and their team, support the center and its philosophies, and then we kind of review, did they get unwritten warning at all during the year. The second section that we do is classroom responsibilities. You know, do they assist the team without direction? So this is, are you, you know, you're in the same classroom every single day, and every single day the lead has to tell you, please go set snack up, please go do this. Or are they just knowing exactly what needs to get done and doing it? Do they act as a role model for all the children, or are they in the room complaining all the time? Do they follow all policies and procedures as laid out? Are they willingly able to perform reasonable tasks throughout the center? So if you're supposed to say to one of them, you know, you got low numbers in preschool today, maybe you need them to jump into toddler for you. Are they willingly doing that, or are they giving you flack? And do they complete all their job functions with little or no direction? You don't need to be directing around an adult all day, so you want them to be able to direct themselves. Follow the behavior management plan is the first one in our child guidance section. So if we have kids on behavior management plans, are the teachers following through with it? Because, you know, we want these kids to be so successful in the classroom, and some of them need a plan. And if that plan's not getting followed, the child might not show success. So that is very important to us. Can they anticipate and take steps to prevent behaviors? You know, if you see them all running around crazy, can someone pull them back in and get their attention? Do they listen to children with attention and respect, encouraging all children to express their emotions? Do they support other children's competence, self-reliant exploration, and use of the classroom materials? Are they praising positive behavior and maintaining a calm voice in the classroom? Seem to find that when we're doing these reviews, we're seeing a lot in this area and a lot in this area that are very important, and we struggle with working with our teams to get them to do this. So our staff meetings are focused always on, you know, how to calm yourself down and how to find the time to do the behavior management plan. The next section is child development. You know, are they implementing the curriculum for each classroom that they're in? Do they add input to the curriculum and class content? Are they encouraging exploration? You know, this is the section where we look at them to not just walk into a classroom and sit there and do an art project, but actually take that theme and the lessons within it and open-ended questions teaching all day. You know, if it's about bee, like, are they finding bee on their walks outside? Are they talking about bee in the block center? You know, are they talking about bee in the dramatic play center or in technology? We're really ensuring that these kids really get the most of the curriculum that they're here for, because our center is educational child care, so that's important to us. So this is an area that we focus on with our team. The next one's supervisory. So you know you have in our center, and I've taught this last month or the month before in our leadership line. You know, if you're a director in a center and everyone reports to you, that's overwhelming. And you can give a career path to other people in your center if they can serve as, you know, sort of like in a supervisory role where you're not paying them as much as a director, but you are, you know, paying them a little bit more as a is like a supervisor type role. So in these roles, they're in certain classrooms, and you know, can they manage the daily schedule on their own without a lead being in the classroom? That's critical for these types of positions. Can they supervise employees to complete procedures? So if we have the lead teacher out and we have a supervisor in the classroom that day, you know, are the assistants kind of just standing around doing nothing, or are they getting directed and the team's working as one team? Can they act as a resource to team mates across the whole center? You know, I tell my leads and my supervisors, you know, you are the resource, you're the mentor to everyone underneath you. So, I want you to be open and willing to share ideas and help each other out. In the absence of the team leader, can they manage the classroom structure, parent communication, volume of classroom in a positive atmosphere? Can they communicate developmental concerns or problems in the room to the team leader when stuff comes up? And do they seek guidance from a director or a team leader when needed? And this is a great stepping stone for people that are going to end up leading a classroom. One is our leadership, is our whoever's leading a classroom, because that's what we have, is everybody that is in charge of a classroom leads, is the management gets this. And so they're responsible for the overall classroom management of volume, control, positive atmosphere, structure of the daily schedule, the environment. So, if we walk in and there's a huge hazard in the room, did they see that? Did they not see it? Are they monitoring the equipment? Are they ensuring the staff in the room is implementing the curriculum and not just sitting there with their arms crossed? I'm working with someone right now who, I think she's uncomfortable getting down with the kids, and she's been doing it at another center, but I'm not really sure if it was implemented, the curriculum. So she's still getting her feet wet, but tend to find her standing around with her arms crossed. And so the lead is really taking her under her wing and saying, okay, well, right now you could go, sit at the table and count the squares and whatever the game that they're doing, and kind of guide them and mentor them to create, a positive environment. The children, can they evaluate each child's development, communicate it to the director, and complete all the development reports on their own, and maintain good relationships with parents? And the overall management is the ability to make decisions, seek guidance when necessary, and consistently manage above tasks, involve the director when necessary, and act as a role model across the center. So that's each of the sections that we use. And this is a book that I absolutely love. It's my favorite book ever. And I highly suggest you get it if you struggle with writing performance reviews, or if you struggle with writing up disciplinary reports, because as you know, in any state, if you have employees that are not meeting expectations, you can easily write up a review, but your documentation is going to be the thing that determines whether, like in Mass, whether we play unemployment, or whether someone decides, which never happened and hopefully doesn't happen to any of you, what if we were taken to court over something in performance and we didn't have good documents? So this book right here is not a book you have to pick up and read. It's a book of examples of how to write things. So we keep this in our library, and anyone writing a performance review can go in and grab it. And so one of the chapters, the little section, one section is called Dependability and Responsibility. And it breaks it into 3 sections: meets expectations, needs improvement, or unsatisfactory. So when the meets or exceeds, for example, for dependability, it says, is a conscientious and dependable worker, is capable of bringing delayed or disrupted projects to conclusion. Now, these little sentences that you can feed into each of these, your reviews or a write-up on somebody, that will really send a message of, oh, wow, she's doing a really great job. She's highly dependable and a responsible employee, if you can't find those words. So say we're still in dependability, you go to needs improvement. Say they're not doing a great job on being dependable. So, under needs improvement, the suggestions are demonstrates wavering abilities, needs to be better at meeting deadlines, needs to be more dependable in completing assignments. So, that's a needs improvement, needs to be working towards this goal. Or if you have somebody that's completely unsatisfactory, the book shows you, cannot be counted upon to follow through on commitments, not be depended upon to complete assignments. It kind of gives you the words in a professional way that send the message in writing that this is a problem, or that this is a really great thing that you're doing. And I find this book to be so helpful when we're writing reviews. And when I give it to new leaders to try out, I will tell you they end up taking a ton of phrases from the book, and then it sounds like a bunch of one-liners. So take a few out and then try and add some back in. that you do. But it's a great book, and it's very inexpensive. I think it's only it was $10. So I got it at barnesandnoble.com. All right, so how am I going to motivate with a performance review? So you spend all this time updating your performance review, but like only one time a year is not good enough, I don't think. So here's my plan. I introduce the document at orientation so that every single new employee knows exactly what's expected. If a portion of the review, like say supervisory and management, is not going to be, they're not going to be evaluated on that, I write that on there, not evaluated. That way they know, okay, I need to do all these other things. And I kind of go through step by step on each section and explain it to them and tell them that, hey, this is where, we got this, or this is where, when I'm looking for someone that's, taking action, I'm looking for you to teach more, or, and you go through each step and explain like what your theory is behind each of the performance review sections. And then what we do is, during observations, which like I said in Massachusetts, we have to do it every other month. So what I do is I print a blank one out I print 5 out a year. And I put it in the employee's file, and I date them for every other month so I know which month I have to do one. And I'll kind of go through it after I've observed them and check off and see where I think they're at. And, if you do an observation, every month or a couple times a year, use the same form. That way it's so easy at the end of the year for the review because you already have a couple of times you've hit it. And if your state doesn't require you to do monthly observations, I think you should try it. And I would do it, every other month. It seems to be a ton. But you could do it like 4 times a year, or, if you wanted to do the 6, you could. And so it's a way for me to kind of have notes so that I don't just sit down at the end of the year and be like, oh, I'm going to write it all up. But, like, do I really remember exactly what they were doing back in March? Do I really remember what they're doing last month? Like, who knows with everything we all have going on. So you might want to consider, trying to implement your performance plan review into your observations. The third thing I do is quarterly check-ins. So every quarter, so that's 4 times a year, I meet with every employee. So 3 times is just meeting, and the 4th time is going to hit the review, right? So the first 3 times, I'll sit down with them with a blank template, and I'll just look at the performance plan. You're sort of like having a conversation, and I call it a check-in because I just want to check in and see how they're doing. The meeting's not about, how awful they are or something they're doing wrong. I kind of want to just get a feel for how they think they're doing, how I can help them, what goals they have that they want to meet. And this is when I do that. And then we go ahead and write a yearly review, and we do it every December and hand it out every January. So yes, Stacy's asking if I can share the template. Yep, I can. And it's the same, the template is this. I'll go back. So it's this, this is all on one piece of paper, all these sections, and it's an Excel spreadsheet, and it just starts at the top. And so in here going on doing a monthly observation, I kind of would be like if I was in this month and it will say May, we just finished up May, I might just put like, oh, yep, she checked, she was meeting observations, she was here, she did her training, maybe she, and I'll write a note over here, like, oh, keeps missing staff meetings. She's welcoming and supports the philosophies. And then I'll date it, like just right here, F this off, and I'll just write observation. And I kind of keep up with it. So I'll end up with a bunch of them at the end of the month. And I would do the same thing here. These are the areas you're going to kind of start seeing some things going downhill that we need to stay up on. And the more we stay focused on what your goals are for your center, because yours might be the same as mine, or you might have totally different goals. All right, so let's get back to, so, and this is why, while performance reviews are tough because people don't like always hearing the negative, but performance reviews do not have to be about the negative all the time, because you can point out a whole process on what they're doing well, where their strengths are. And what I find is, in the first 2 years of running Scribble Time, we did the annual review every year, and everyone was freaking out before they came in. And I'm like, why are you freaking out? If something was wrong, we would be telling you. But what it taught me back then, 2 years into it, so that was 2007. What it taught me was that I needed to have more of that time with them, not that just about me coming down on them and being like, oh, you're not doing this right. This isn't going well. You do A and B okay, but then C and D aren't great. And what these check-ins right here, oops, that was a really bad highlight. What those check-ins right here, they, what they do is teach them that this isn't always about something bad, and that performances are, really great thing, because it's a great time to sit together and talk about the awesome things going on with them and how they're supporting your company values. And I have found that this whole process is a huge motivator for them, because now the employees that have been in our system for quite some time, they love the quarterly check-in, because we get to sit and they're like, okay, I decided I really want to try pre-K out, or, all those tips you taught me on helping the floats when they come in the room, they're doing great. I'm more confident talking to them, and it's a way for you to sit and celebrate with your employees. So I find it to be highly motivating to not only take the performance review on the first day they start and show it to them and have it be a present document, but really use it throughout the entire year, showing them all the great things that they do to support the goals that you have at your center. Does anybody have any questions before we move on, wrap up? This is one of the things that we do at Scribble Time with the Flip My Center program, is training people on performance reviews and all different things. So on Wednesday, I'm going to be teaching this class in full, which means I'm going to be giving live examples on actually how to write the performance review. I'm going to be teaching on all the different process with building it. We have a whole section on specific issues with teachers and how to go through the performance review and what wording to use, and we're going to talk through that. And so our leadership line is really about building enrollment and motivating your teachers and more efficient processes, because just like this process, people get stressed out writing that review every year, or they skip it altogether, when if you use the process of observations like we do, and it's a quick, it does not take long to sit there and check those boxes off. And then you remember, keep it in a folder, and you can really give somebody a really great performance review at the end of the year to show them how much you do recognize throughout the year, because things do get so busy. So if you join our by Wednesday is the training, and hopefully I'll have sound by then. I don't know what happened with this one. We're meeting at 2 o'clock on Wednesday, and then you get the recording if you can't make it, and you get access to all the recordings once you jump in for the past 3 months. The leadership line, it comes with a workbook. You'll be able to download the performance review, and I'm giving you 8 performance reviews on different employees that we have. Names changed, but all these different, we have 5 examples, and then we have 3 other bonuses. And then if you sign up by Wednesday at 2 for our leadership line, we're also going to give you 5 ways to take your now enrolling sign, the SelfStudy Time, which is all the training that came in it, and it's the training alone is $397. So it's support from us. We have a private group. There's a bunch of directors in here with us. We have a great time connecting in our private Facebook group. I'm available to my leadership line group through email. I get emails almost every day asking me if something they're stumped on at their center, and I'm more than willing to help you out and to make your center successful, because my mission on this is to really support directors from across the entire country, because I truly believe that if you learn some business techniques and apply it at your center, that you can fill your center up or you can manage your employees more easily. I have over 20 years experience leading teams of thousands of people at another company, and my sister was teaching for a long time at a child care center, and we kind of put the two together, and she tells me, okay, this is a problem in a classroom, and I take my operational experience and we share it with each other, and we come up with these ways that I can help, that have helped my child care center, because when we started, we had a license for 26, and now we're at 154, and I'm full every year, and I have great teachers, and parents refer us, and I don't tend to advertise, and I can teach you all these tricks, and just in $37 a month is not a lot of money for, the training that you get and the support you get from us, and I know I can help you. And I know what a struggle it is out there. So I hope that I've answered or shed some light on performance reviews and how you can really incorporate your review in your center to help your team. And if you have any questions, you can respond to the email when you get the recording. And I'm sorry that it took so long to get on the call. Technology. Sometimes I love it and sometimes I hate it. But I enjoyed speaking with everybody today, and I thank you for sticking around. And if you have any questions, when you get the recording, you can just reply back to me. Before I sign out, though, does anyone want to ask anything in the chat box? And it doesn't have to be about performance reviews. It can be anything. Last month, we talked about getting payments from parents on time. Is everyone following us on Facebook or Pinterest? I've been doing a ton of things on Pinterest and trying to help different areas. I'll put even if you don't go on Pinterest. I think that's it. All right, well, I really appreciate everyone being here. For that. No, oh, you're on Facebook, yay. The Pinterest has all new. We've been really working on that the last month or so, trying to get a ton of people over there and giving as many resources as I can. And even if you can't, like I said, if you don't like it, using Pinterest for yourself personally, there's a lot of great resources out there, especially on our tips board and our training board. We have a bunch. So I'm so glad that I got to talk to all of you. I hope you have a great day at your center. Monthly payments or one-time payment. Oh, it's a monthly payment of $37. And like I said, if you don't like it, you just cancel. And it will be in the link. But I'll give it to you right now if you want it. And after you pay it, like I said, I haven't had anybody leave it yet, thankfully. It's going to be our year anniversary in August. And if you sign up, we send the recordings. The recordings go to your email. If you join the leadership line, you also get access to the Director's Vault, which is the past 2 months plus the current month of training. So you'll get a bunch of different trainings. And with the leadership line and like with these, all the recordings are sent you, so you can kind of watch them back. And I have taken some classes, and I have found that that I save all my recordings and I go back to them. And I just went back to one from like a year ago about Facebook marketing. I was interested on that. Oh, cool. Okay, Summer, I will go get your Scribbles the Bear friendship request. That's how we get you into our private group, so we can welcome you over there in that group. And in that group, I keep documents, and I put all this stuff will get uploaded for the leadership line this week. So excellent. So I hope more of you join us. It's a great group of directors, and it's so nice because, Summer's getting into the Facebook private group. You can post a question in there. It can be anything, and I'm don't be shy. People ask anything, and then all centers from all over will go through and just start asking questions or providing what they do or all that stuff. So it's a great place just to connect. And I'm trying, I want the cost to be very affordable for people to join, and trying to get you the most value. And plus, you get access to us, any of the directors here at Scribble Time. You have a question or a problem, you can email us, and one of us will get right back to you. So I hope you got something from this training. I hope you're going to join me on Wednesday for our full performance review training. And I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.